automatically, subconsciously, I already did it. They're listening to this right now. They already said, I will never be Elon Musk. They already did it because they have not internally sold themselves. And the reason people don't make the money, they don't want to make it. They don't.
Welcome back to Young Smart Money with me, your host, Apple Crater. Today we have Austin Lewis on the show. Austin is a serial entrepreneur at the age of 23. He has started and invested in multiple different companies, the biggest of which and most significant of which being his social media marketing agency, A Legacy Marketing, an agency that specializes specifically in Instagram and growing clients' Instagram accounts. He's done a bunch of different things, and in this episode in particular, we're going to be focusing in on the factors and the strategies that he has used to see massive success across multiple different businesses at the young age of 23. This guy is absolutely killing it. You're going to want to be taking notes because he drops a lot of value. This guy is extremely excited. His vibes, his energy is through the roof. So if you normally listen to podcasts at 2x speed, would recommend bringing this down to 1.5 or 1x speed. This guy says a lot of things, a lot of very valuable information. So you're going to have to at times pause it, rewind like a couple minutes and just listen to it again because he's dropping a lot of value here. You're going to want to make sure you digest as much as possible. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this conversation with Austin Lewis. Austin, welcome to Young Smart Money. How are you doing today?
Absolutely blessed, brother. How about yourself?
I am doing great. So, Austin, our listeners heard a little bit about you in the intro, but for those of us who aren't as familiar with you and what you do, could you give us a quick 60-second intro as to what you are up to right now? Then we're going to dive a little bit deeper into that.
Yep, absolutely, brother. So, Austin Lewis here from Scottsdale, Arizona, 23 years old. I'm going to turn 24 in the month of May. I actually started my actual career from network marketing. That's kind of what I did. I was in network marketing for 5 years. Took me 4 years to ever make any money. With that, 6 months later, I became a six-figure earner in a company. I was selling weight loss coffee, which then obviously I did what most network marketers don't usually do, and that was diversify. I started a exotic car rental business. I then dove into, in Scottsdale, we have like a limousine golf cart company. I diversified into that. We bought a limousine company of golf carts, and then it kind of just spiraled into doing some cryptocurrency. And now currently, we have a couple of different things going on. My main source, my number one, like my baby, is obviously a Legacy Marketing, which is a specialized Instagram growth company. We just specialize in Instagram. We don't run any ads. We don't, run any Facebook ads. We don't do any Facebook. We don't do any Twitter. We just simply do a Legacy Marketing as an Instagram growth agency. And then of course, I own an ATM company. And then in the next, I want to say probably 7 days, which I'm super excited for, I'm going to be rolling out a online course. So that's kind of what's keeping us busy right now, brother.
Lots of different stuff. I love it. I love it. So I'm always fascinated by how different entrepreneurs get started. So talk to me about that time before you got into network marketing, maybe when you were in like middle school, high school. Were you the kid in the back of the class that was like selling bootleg CDs and like Snickers bars, or like what was that looking like for you?
Yeah, bro. Honestly, surprisingly, no. I was raised in a very traditional home. My parents always taught me, go to school, get a degree, get a good job, work for benefits. And that's like the kind of route that obviously I was going towards, right? Going throughout high school, man, I hated school, absolutely hated school. It just wasn't for me. I'm not the shiniest marble in the box, not the sharpest tool in the shed. In fact, if I told people my SAT score, I'd probably embarrass myself. So, school wasn't for me. And I kind of always told my parents, like, the manifestation is a crazy thing, right? And sometimes I believe this, that you don't know what you don't know. And going through high school, I always knew that I wasn't going to college. I just didn't know why, right? But like Jim Rohn always says, you don't got to know the what. You want to know the what. You just don't want to know. You don't need to know the how.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew the what. The what was I wasn't going to go to college. I didn't know how I wasn't going to go to college though. And so, just going through high school, I wasn't an entrepreneur. I had the entrepreneur mindset, obviously. I had the entrepreneur mindset, but nothing, I wasn't selling nothing. I wasn't like, this isn't the Gary Vee show where I was selling lemonade, because I honestly wasn't. It sounds cool, but like I wasn't. Mm-hmm. I wasn't selling candy. I wasn't selling shoes, things like that. I was just your normal average kid with just honest above average dreams, right? And that's kind of who I was. And so This is one thing I've taken from one of my biggest mentors, and a thought in motion continues in motion unless it's acted upon by an outside force. It's kind of like Newton's law, right? An object in motion continues in motion unless it's acted upon by an outside force. That's the same way that it goes with a thought. And so actually my first thought in motion that was absolutely deterred was I met a guy, and this guy had a dad that happened to be worth $200 million. And now again, you got to understand, as I was growing up, I mean, I was used to a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, right? 2,000 square feet. My parents never complained about money, but if it were, hey, awesome, hey mom, I want the new Xbox game, my mom would say, hey, you got to figure out how to make that money. So how I made that money is I'd go mow lawns and things like that. I never did anything entrepreneurial in that aspect. I didn't sell anything. I just ended up, for my grandma doing little stuff like that. So the conversation about money growing up was always, it wasn't great. It was a little uneasy, but we always got by. We always got by, and I didn't seem to ask a lot of questions about it. And so, when I met this, he happened to be my friend. He was a couple years older than me. When he ended up introducing me to his dad, this is where a thought in motion continues in motion unless it's acted upon by an outside force. I saw a guy that had healthy relationships, that was living the dream. At the time, I've never seen a Ferrari in my entire life. Coming from I was used to be from Washington State. That's where I'm originally from, a little town called Spokane. And so you don't see Ferraris, you don't see Lamborghinis, you don't see Rolls Royces and things like that. You don't usually see massive mansion houses. And I remember showing up to this guy's house one night, and his house was literally the size of my mom's neighborhood. And that's kind of where I sat at a dining room table with him. And I don't know what it was, because I was always for people that were at that level, because it was something I was so unused to. I literally asked him hey, what do you do? And I remember it like it was yesterday, and the story is just so incredible. He literally invited me to an event on Thursday. He said, Austin, what do you got going on, this Thursday? It was on a weekend that I was at his house. I said, well, I'm going to be going to a party. I mean, obviously that's what I did. I was 15 years old. I was going to a party. My mom was going to drop me off. I was going to go hit on some girls, do this, that, and the third. I do a couple of things I probably shouldn't do, and that was it. And I remember, I saw his lifestyle. I saw the relationships that he had with his kids. He had a couple of kids, which his friend happened to be his son happened to be one of my good friends. And then obviously I saw the lifestyle, the private jets, and the relationships that he had. And more so what actually inspired me was the impact he made on other people's lives. And I got to see that, at his house when he had obviously guests over and things. And so, I remember he invited me to an event on Thursday. That Thursday, he said, hey, Austin, my driver, his name was Howie. He had a driver at the time. He said, my driver, Howie's going to pick you up. You're going to come to this event, be business casual, and we're going to run with it. And I said, absolutely. I'll let you know if I'm able to go to that event. It happened to be around the same time that this party that I was going to was at as well. And so I remember that day. And, my parents have always been super, what's the word? They've always been super encouraging. They've always been super encouraging. And I remember that I woke up that morning, I got ready. I came home from school that day. I think I don't even remember what I was in. I think I was in 8th grade or something. Yeah, 7th or 8th grade. I think it was 8th grade. It was in 8th grade. And I just remember my mom saying, hey, Austin, you're going to go to this event. Now, my mom had absolutely no idea what this event was even about. All she saw was this family's lifestyle. And, my parents have never downed, on the rich or the wealthy. They just haven't been experienced to that because they didn't know it either, right? And so my mom just randomly, as I was getting ready for my party, she's like, are you going to this event? And I just remember her saying, hey, Austin, Howie's outside. And she knew the driver. And I just literally thought to myself, should I actually go? Is sacrificing this party of something I actually want to go into something that I don't really know, right? Because it was uncomfortable. At this time, comfortable for me was what I was used to. So I didn't do things uncomfortable because I was always in my comfort zone. And that's just how I lived. That's how I was brought up. And so I was never taught to get out of my comfort zone. But something just triggered where it was like, Austin, get in his car and go to this event. I had no idea what this event was. I showed up to this event, man, and I shook the hands of people that were 20, 30, 40 years old, literally making $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a month, retired buying their grandparents' houses out, retiring their mom and dad, just crazy stuff. And right there, a thought motion continues to motion unless it's acted upon by an outside force, was the second I decided that I was going to do that. I didn't know how, but that was the second, like Jim Rohn says, I knew the what. It was going to be an entrepreneur. I didn't know how because I didn't know how to start a business. I didn't know how to sell. I'm honestly, I'm an introvert. I've just been so good at training myself to be an extrovert, right? And that's literally, that's like the game plan up until I started my first business. My first business I started was a network marketing company. It was $750 to get started. I didn't have the money. Obviously, I was 15 years old. I didn't have the money. And at that time, I actually asked my mom for her credit card so I could go get gas. And what I did is I actually swiped $750 on her credit card so that I could get this business started. And then I just remembered my first check I ever got there was $1.52. But and I showed it to her. Now, mind you have it, she found out that I just swiped $750 on a credit card. This was probably like 2 weeks later. I got a check in the mail for $1.50. Most people are like, how the hell did you make $1.52 in a network marketing company? I sold a $5 brochure. That's all I sold. I sold a $5 brochure. They sent me a check for $1.52. But that check that I showed my mom, I was so excited and so fired up because at that time, again, my mental capacity was shown. I already sold myself that if I can make $1.52, I can make $152. If I can make $152, I can make $152 million. And so when I showed my mom that check on how excited I was and what that check meant for me mentally, is if I can make $1.52, I can make 152 million, I can make 152 billion. But what she saw was $1.52 check, and she sent me straight to my room, grabbing me this, that, and the third. But that was kind of like my upbringing into entrepreneur. I dove into something that I was uncomfortable. And like we always hear, everything happens for a reason. I sat in a room where, I think I even hit a bong before I ended up actually going to the meeting. Like it was actually crazy. You can edit that out if you want. But I just was so average. Like I was such an average kid. My mental state was just so above average. I knew if other people could do it, then why the heck couldn't I? Right? I know I'm not going to be LeBron James. I know I'm not going to be Tiger Woods unless I practice enough. But I can sell myself onto that. I will be just like that, And that's kind of what it was. I thought in motion. I saw this lifestyle. I saw the people that were earning the money. I saw the people that were giving back in the communities that they were creating and the impact on the world that they were doing. And that's what altered my lifestyle. And that's what ultimately changed and set me up for where I'm at today.
Absolutely. So talk to us about the experience of being an introvert in a network marketing company, because a lot of times, myself included and the people around me, I hear this association between like the people in network marketing companies are extremely extroverted and they're extremely just out there. They're going to talk to anyone on the street and just like socialize with everyone. And you said you trained yourself a little bit to be more of an extrovert, but talk to us about that experience of being 17 years old and being pretty introverted and going into this business.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And at this point, perception is reality, right? Perception is reality. They look at us, they look at, top people, and I won't name names, but some people that they may look up on YouTube or they may look up on Instagram. Like, just understand those people have bad days too, right? Yeah, it looks so good from the outside, but when you're actually close to these people, like I always preach that, like, yeah, my lifestyle is absolutely incredible. I live like most people wish they could, or like a dream, like most people wish they can. But listen, I got bad days too, right? Like there's some days where I'm like, man, Austin, you're not good enough. Like I have so many doubts that go through my head too. It's just how fast can you bounce back from those? And so, growing up, being super introverted, like it's all about, and again, like I was in my network marketing company for 4.5 years. I never made any money. Like most people, and I'll just like go through the story. Most people don't last 4 months in anything, right? Like, can you picture like January 1st, New Year's revolution, the gym has 7,000 times more people, and 30 days later, it goes right back to the regular people that it is. People don't last long in anything. People are just normally just weak human beings, right? But at that time, I had sold myself that I was going to make it happen. I didn't give myself, most people have plan A, they have plan B, they have plan C, all this. I didn't give myself that option. It was my way or the freaking highway, and that was the only way the highway was going to roll, right? And so, going through, I understood that I had to become a better person. I understood that Austin Lewis had to become a person that was worth the amount of money, because I truly believe now, most people are like, man, I don't like the rich, I don't like the wealthy, or, oh, he got lucky at $200,000, he's making $200,000 a month. He got lucky doing this, making a couple of million dollar a year companies. He got lucky, when in all reality, that's honestly bullshit. Because I believe the amount of money that you make is a direct correlation to the amount of people that you're actually impacting. And that's what I truly believe. Now, obviously, take it like a grain of salt or take it like a buffet table, take what I like, leave what I don't like. But being an introvert, I understood that I needed to grow into the person that I needed to be. Like I needed to grow into that person that was making $100,000 a year. And if I wasn't growing, then you're staying stagnant, and stagnant is just like dying. Right? Just like they say, eagles always soar and birds flock together. I always wanted to separate myself from other people. I wanted to get out of the rat race. I wanted to quit doing what other people were doing, because again, if you do what other people do, you'll get exactly what they got. And everybody else at that time, being an introvert, being all right with where I was at, being okay with just going through the motions, rather than living life, we were just rather existing. And I don't know about you, but I'd rather live a life. I saw people, getting jobs at Burger King. I saw people getting jobs at Subway. I saw people, enrolling into college and not knowing why they were going to college, but they're going to spend their mom's $50,000 a year to go to college for no freaking reason other than to get a I don't even know what it is, get a PhD in beer bongs, right? That was no interest. I had no interest in that. And so, me personally, being an introvert, in 4.5 years, I never made any money. I literally never made any money. Now, when I talk about never made any money, I actually mean I never made any money. Like, yeah, I signed up people here and there. I made $100, $200, $300 here and there. I signed up 100, but there was a time point in 4.5 years. There were 30 conventions that I went to. Out of those 4.5 years, there were 30 conventions that this company held. Austin Lewis was at 30 of those conventions. Those stories when people are like, man, how'd you get there? I found a way. I didn't have a lot of money, but I knew what it was going to be because I showed up to every single event. Now, these events, I'm from Washington State. These events were in Florida. These events were in Miami. These events were in St. Louis. These events were in Salt Lake City, Utah. These events were in New York. Like, they were all over the world, so that required travel. And travel requires what? Requires money. And I wasn't making money at the time. And again, my parents wouldn't support me, and financially, they supported me mentally. Right? They wouldn't support me financially ever because, again, they didn't have the money either. And so, I always found a way because I always mentally sold myself. And once I sell myself on something, I'm going to go do it. I'm going to make it happen. There's no questions, ifs, or buts. If I'm not good enough, I'm going to figure out how to be good enough. And so, literally out of those 4.5 years, there were 30 conventions in total in this company. And I went to every single one. There wasn't one convention that I missed. And that was just pure selling myself on the fact that I was good enough, right? And so that was just me going to an event was me getting out of my comfort zone and listening and taking, I was a sponge. Like most people that I talk to in today's world, they think the most expensive real estate's in California. They think the most expensive real estate is Chad Carroll selling a $52 million penthouse. When in all reality, the most expensive real estate that you have that's in this world today is the 6 inches between your ears. It's your mindset. Right? It's because again, 70% of the day you talk to yourself. What is it that you talk to yourself about? Right? Are you talking yourself up or are you putting yourself down? Every single day. I remember there was actually a period in my life, it was for 2 years, that I didn't do anything, Apple, but other than listen to people that had what I wanted. Right? Because I'm a firm believer. If you do what other people do, and you'll get exactly what they got. Now, again, most people in today's world, they want to listen to mom, they want to listen to dad, they want to listen to somebody else that isn't actually living the lifestyle that they wanted to live. So there was a time in my life where all I did was walk around with earbuds in my ears, constantly listening to audios, constantly listening to things that would raise my dopamine level up on a 24/7 literally standpoint, because the environment that I was in was so negative. Right? It was so negative. My dad's like, oh man, I don't want to go to work tomorrow. My mom's like, oh my gosh, Tim, why did you buy this? Why did you buy that? Growing up, my dad was a little bit of an alcoholic. Why are you always drinking? Why? My environment was so negative that I constantly had to upbring myself with a bunch of positivity. Right? I had to raise my dopamine because of the environment that I was in. So I would go look at the cars. I'd go to the dealership and look at the BMWs, look at the Mercedes, and things like that. Because at the time, I was living in a smaller town that it didn't have Ferraris. They don't sell just Lamborghinis there. And so I had to do whatever it is. I knew I would spend my last tank of gas and my money to drive around at houses that actually raised my dopamine, that got me excited and fired up for my future, because what you put into your mind, what you receive is what you do, what you reflect in is the life that you can create. So I remember I'd go to bed, man. I would go to bed and I'd stick my phone under my pillow and I just listen to audios, because again, your subconscious mind never sleeps. Most people most people forget that. They think when they stop turning on Netflix, when they shut off Netflix to go to bed, that whatever they were watching, if it was scary, if it was negative, this, that, and the third, that is going to continue to play in their subconscious mind for the rest of the night. So when I put on motivational stuff, it was really hard for me every morning, bro, to wake up in a bad attitude, wake up with a bad mindset, because I went to bed having a good mindset. You know what I'm saying? So, a lot of growth is ultimately, I know I dragged that on, but a lot of growth is kind of what allowed me to train myself, train who I am. Because again, everybody they don't know what their life purpose is. They don't know what their purpose is in anything. And again, I'm 23 years old. You're young too. I don't expect somebody to know their life purpose right away. Like, I don't even expect some people that are 40 to know their life purpose, right? Because every day it's always different. It's always changing for me. My life purpose is always going to be getting better. It's always going to be leveling up, because the better the person that I become, the more I'm going to be able to have a bigger life purpose, right? And so I always knew that I was here to serve other people. Like, I'm not here just for Austin Lewis. I'm not here for myself. I'm here for other people. And that is what allowed me to get out of my comfort zone. That's what allowed me to grow as a person. And again, those overnight success that people call me now, man, I've been doing this for a decade. And every single day, I still read more books than you. Every single day, I still listen to more audios than you listen to. Every single day, I still grow more than you do. And I guarantee I'm in a lot better position than most people. But I'm still constantly getting myself better. I'm still constantly sharpening my tools.
Now, a lot of people are going to hear manifestation and they're going to put a picture of a Lamborghini on their phone background and think that's good and think they're like well on their way to succeeding. How do you balance execution with having that vision in mind?
Yeah, man, I think taking action. Too many people talk about it, but nobody actually sells themselves on it. Like, I believe selling yourself is one of the most important things you could ever do. Like, I have sold myself that I was good enough. Like, most people, when you think of the greats, let's think of Elon Musk. Most people automatically, subconsciously, I already did it. They're listening to this right now. They already said, I will never be Elon Musk. They already did it, because they have not internally sold themselves. And the reason people don't make the money they don't want to make it, they don't impact the people that they don't want to impact, is they don't sell themselves on what it is that they actually are here for. They don't sell them when they start a business, when they start something, they don't actually sell themselves on what it could do for them. Right? Just having a picture on here is great, but it's, motivation is just like bathing. You should do it every day. Heck, I do it every day. Like, people are like, I'm so tired of all these entrepreneurs saying that, they're so sick of the rah-rah and they're not here for the hype. Man, bull. I need the freaking hype. I need the hype every single day. You see what I'm saying? And that's why I show up. That's why manifestation is so freaking is so empowering for so many people. Dude, I still, yes, I've owned the exotic cars. Yes, I've lived in the penthouses, and yes, I travel the world and things like that. I still, Austin Lewis, go to the Lamborghini dealership. Yes, my partner's owned a Lamborghini. Yes, we've owned a Ferrari. Yes, we've owned R8s. I've owned the stuff, but I still like to constantly surround myself with it, right? Just like you are the average of the 5 people that you hang out with. Your 5 best friends are broke. Chances are you're probably what? You're probably broke. Your 5 best friends are multimillionaires. Your 5 best friends are inspiring the world. Your 5 best friends are building a massive team, an organization that are literally changing the world. You're probably going to do what? You're probably going to do the same dang thing, right? But most people, they don't change their environment, and they expect their environment to change. I like that. I'll say that again. Most people don't change their environment, but they expect their environment to change. It'll never change. If you do what you do on a daily basis, expecting a change, you're doing what the definition of insanity is. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Change what you're doing on a daily basis. Change just having what is having a picture of a Lamborghini going to do on the back of your phone for? You're going to look at it how many times? Most of the time, look at your screen time. You're not even looking at that much. You're not even looking at it that much. You know what I mean? Like, but get in the routine of always giving yourself dopamine, and dopamine is always giving you that level of like, oh yeah, I can do it. Like, yeah, this is good, man. Like, sometimes it's a song. Sometimes it's, go sit in a car. Sometimes it's, go listen to that podcast. Sometimes it's go talk to that person, right? That's going to give you dopamine and say, hey, listen, Apple, you can make this thing happen. You can do this. I believe in you. I believe in you more than you believe in yourself. That's the kind of dopamine. Go drive around and look at those beautiful freaking homes in your neighborhood, right? You see, most people, when they watch Netflix, they watch Netflix for the solely version of entertaining. If I watch Netflix, which I do very rarely, it's probably like Suits or something. I'm like, man, how did he tie his tie? I'm like, what kind of glass of scotch is he drinking, and how often does he drink it? Right? It's the mentality of little things that you can pick up, that you can circle, and you can do what they could do, and you'll get exactly what they got. So manifestation is so freaking empowering. But again, it doesn't help if you don't ever sell yourself on it. If you have a picture of your Lamborghini, or a Lamborghini you want, or a dream of yours on your phone screen, and you haven't actually mentally sold yourself on having that picture or having that Lamborghini on your phone screen does no good. In fact, what I would probably change is why you're doing it. Because why you're doing it's going to get you rather than a Lamborghini. Why I wake up every single day earlier than other people is because I want my mom to live a lifestyle that she couldn't even dreamt of. That's what I do every single day. In fact, my mom's on my home screen. My mom's literally actually on my home screen. Let's see if this thing, there she is. She's on my home screen. Just literally a picture of her. And yeah, I've had all the materialistic things. Yeah, I'm going to continue to have materialistic things because I like those things. Yeah, I'm going to continue to have the fashion. Yeah, I'm going to be able to continue to travel the world. Yeah, I'm going to continue to create 6-figure and multiple 7-figure earners. But the materialistic stuff isn't what actually is going to drive you. The manifestation of knowing my mom, of that I've already sold myself on that. She's already going to live a lifestyle that she could only dreamt of. She didn't even know it was possible. It's already done. Now I just got to make it happen.
Absolutely. And we've talked a lot about manifestation in terms of material things, and those can definitely be very beneficial to you if you have that why, if you have that really strong why. But I want to hear a little bit more on the role that other people have had on you, and especially influential people. You mentioned your friend's dad, who was hundreds of millions of dollars worth at a very young age. But like, who have some of your other mentors been? Who have been other people that have been extremely influential on you? And how were you able to connect with those people?
Yeah, man. So to be completely honest with you, like it's so funny. Back in the 3-4 years ago, when Austin Lewis was really at that time just really a nobody, I had 3 to 5 mentors, and those 3 to 5 mentors I've never met. Those 3 to 5 mentors, other than my one that's made for a couple $100 million. He's worth over $400 million now at this point. Lives in Seattle, Washington. But I had 3 or 4 mentors, and those 3 or 4 mentors outside of him, I never even met. But I followed them on Instagram. I follow them on YouTube. I follow them on podcasts. I follow them on Facebook. I was on their business profile. Dude, there was some times that I would show up to whatever, if they had a call of some sort with 3,000 people, 5,000 people, if they were doing a meeting, if they were doing an event, I would go. I probably knew if I sat one of my mentors down that I didn't actually know, but I listened to one of their podcasts probably 2,000 times now, the same podcast over and over and over and over again. Because again, if you watch a movie and you watch a movie twice, 3 times, 4 times, you all usually pick up more than you did the first time, like, oh shoot, that was in there. I didn't even notice it was like that. Right. And that's how it was for my mentors. And so honestly, like most people are like, man, I need a physical mentor. I need them to touch, smell, feel, this, and the third, which don't get me wrong. That's great. You'll get to that if you've sold yourself on that, but you don't need that starting out, because most people are like, man, I'm not going to be able to get that. Well, yeah, you're right. You might not be able to get that right now, but hey, that doesn't mean they can't be your mentor. Buy every book they've got. Buy every book they've written. Hop on every YouTube thing that they have. They have 300 subscribers or 3 million subscribers. It doesn't matter. Get on their YouTube. Watch every single one of their videos. Watch how they talk. Look what they talk about and see how they talk, and you'll do exactly that, right? And so, those were my first couple of mentors, man. I didn't know them personally, but I knew everything about them. You pretty much could have called me psychotic, because it was just crazy. Like, I knew everything about them because, again, I wanted to do what they did, and then I wanted to get what they got. And then, of course, over the last couple of years, I've been able to have super good mentors, super good people in my life, just as I level up as a person, because you attract who you are. So as I became a better person, I always attracted better people into my life. And that's a massive result. There's people call this thing, success. They call it there's a secret. Like, there's no secret to success. Like, if you actually listen to this and where I started to where I'm at today, if you met me 5-6 years ago, you would have been like, man, this kid's never going to become successful. But I just literally followed the pattern of what success needs, and that's how I've created it, man. Now I have mentors that, now I've shaken the hands of Bob Proctor. Now I've been around, Cody Sperber and all these incredible, successful people where we're actually, like, I could text, Trent Shelton right now. Like, I can literally text Trent Shelton right now. And so, just people understanding that I could shoot them a DM, they're going to respond to me, is so powerful. And again, I didn't have that right away. It's grown over time. Always be building your network, always be leveling up as a person, because then you're going to attract those people into your lifestyle.
Exactly. And so many people try to reach out to these people before they have done anything themselves. They don't have a platform, or they don't have anything to provide value to anyone else. They're just trying to siphon off and be a vampire pretty much, and just suck the life out of everybody else around them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's crucial that you have some kind of something that you've built up, some kind of skill, some kind of talent, some kind of platform that you have to allow other people to really be able to provide value, and to just have the knowledge and experience of actually going through something on your own.
100%.
Yeah. So talk to us about establishing your why, because it sounds like you have a very, very solid why. And to me, it sounds like it stemmed sort of from that first mentor of yours, because you said the way he was able to impact the people around him was very impactful on you, and really gave you that drive. So how would a listener who doesn't really have a strong why, maybe they're 17 years old or 18 years old, they're feeling a little bit lost, they're in high school right now, they don't really know what they want to do after they graduate. How would you advise them to establish that why, and really find a drive behind whatever they want to do, and really establish like what they even want to get out of life?
Yeah, no, 100%, man. Especially if it's towards those, 16, 17, 18, 19-year-olds, even 20-year-olds, or even up to 23, obviously, because I remember being in this position. I had a lot of friends. I was the cool kid. Like all my friends were partying and having fun and driving the cars and, doing this, that, and third, staying out late nights, showing up to class late because we were so freaking tired or whatever the reason was. But just understand that, again, you are the average of the 5 people that you hang out with. In 70% of the conversation that you have with on a daily basis, the 70% of that is with yourself. So what it is that you're talking to yourself about, what is it that you're saying to yourself? Are you saying that you're good enough? Are you saying that I don't know if I can beat him? Are you saying you can beat Elon Musk because Elon Musk's just a person if you talk to him? And then, or are you saying that he's Elon Musk, I can't beat him, right? Most people like to compare themselves with other people, but they've already died because they've compared themselves with other people, right? You don't need to compare yourself to other people because you're not those other people. You're you, right? And so, growing up, I cut all my friends out, man. I cut every single one of my friends out. I did not have friends from the age of probably 17 to 21. 17 to 21, I didn't have friends. I didn't hang out with friends. I didn't go to their birthday parties, or I didn't go do this, go do that, because again, like you said, they're leeches to me. They were leeches to me, and they were bringing me down when all I was doing was trying to offer value. When all I was trying to do was offer value, right? And so, one thing I had to understand, and one thing that I had to see is cutting those people out of my life was actually the greatest thing I've ever done with my entire life. That's what allowed me to have more self-reflecting time, because people are like, man, what's your why? Or why? I don't even know what my why is. My why is $100 bill. It's like, no, dude, your why isn't $100 bill. $100 bill is just a piece of paper, and this piece of paper isn't going to get you anywhere if you don't know why you want it. If you had $100 million in a bank account and you didn't know why, what would you do with it? What would you do with it? That's the question. And that is a great time, especially being age 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 years old. You have the potential to do a lot of self-reflecting. We just don't do a lot of self-reflecting because, again, our life, the world that we live in is just so fast-paced. It's just so fast-paced. We don't take time to stop and say, hey, man, where was I 6 months ago? Where am I today? How much have I grown? How much more is in my bank account? How many more friends? How many more relationships, connections do I have? How much larger is my network? We don't do that at a young age. We don't do that. We just kind of exist rather than actually live, right? And so, that's kind of what actually, separated me from, if I didn't do that, if I didn't do a lot of self-reflecting at age 17, if I didn't, go to those seminars and travel and I didn't sacrifice, I did a lot of sacrificing. Every single, like my 17-year-old birthday, I didn't do anything. My 16-year-old birthday, I didn't do anything. That sounds so freaking boring and so lame. But like, man, my 21st birthday, I lived like I had a 21st birthday. Like, it was so sick. Short-term inconvenience for long-term stability. Most people just aren't willing to put in that work. Most people aren't willing to, like, one thing my mentor always said to me was, Austin, would you live in horse manure for 3 years to live the rest of your life like you could only dreamt of? My answer is absolutely yes. I will suck it up for 3 years of my life to live the rest of my life the best of my life. Most people wouldn't do that. Most people right now are saying they would do that when they actually wouldn't do that. And that was just it, man. It was the conversations that I had with myself. It was the friendships that I had on YouTube. It was the friendships I had on podcasts. It was the friendships I had on Instagram that ultimately changed my life, man. Got my mindset in the right direction, allowed me to figure out what my why was, allowed me to figure out why I was doing what I was doing rather than what I was doing. And don't get me wrong, I struggled with it, man. I became very egotistical. I had a really big ego and a really little bank account because that's just what I was. That's just who I was. Because again, I didn't figure out my why until recent. So I would have beat yourself up over it. But again, you got to understand your place and why you're doing it, what it is that you're doing. And have my thing is have a greater purpose that you're not even used to. Like have a greater, and what I mean by that is get out of your comfort zone and start making money for something else. And the money for you will always catch up. Most people aren't willing to do that though. Most people aren't willing to put something else first, let the money substitute that for them or for whatever it is that it is. Whether your goal is to pay your mom's, you're gonna get out of your comfort zone. If you are in a business or you're starting this, you're starting that, you're doing that job, and you want that job to buy yourself a new car, if you just figured out a little bit of why you see mom struggling and you paid $1,000 out of your paycheck for rent, that's going to get you super uncomfortable. That's going to get you super motivated. And that is going to ultimately give you so much dopamine. You're going to see why it is that you're doing. And I guarantee you that car is going to come no matter what.
100%. Talk to us about your self-reflection practices, because clearly it seems like that's been a big part of your life. What does that look like for you? How often are you reflecting? Do you like structure it? Do you say, all right, I'm going to sit down for like an hour and reflect on the last 6 months, or what's that looking like?
Yeah, man. Honestly, and again, I'm not going to sound perfect here. I mean,
sure.
I struggle with it as well. And now over time and obviously having more money, I'm able to do things a little bit differently, where I'm actually able to do that. Like most people, like I'm all about vibes, right? I'm all about vibes. I'm super high energy because that's how I got to keep myself on a daily basis. Otherwise, because I mean, nobody wants to listen to somebody that's monotone and doesn't have a lot of energy and this, that, and third. Because again, you're going to leech off them. And I want you when you talk to me, I want you to leave a better person than when you started talking to me. That's my ultimate goal, right? And so, I'm all about vibes. I'm all about energy levels and things like that. That's why my energy levels are so high constantly. But I always put myself in the constant state of doing that. Like most people in today's world, they won't spend an extra $100 to go to a nicer hotel when they travel because they put themselves in a scarcity mindset rather than if you paid the extra $100 to go to a better hotel that has better energy, that has better vibes, you'll probably end up making more money. Like it's crazy on thinking that way, but I've trained myself that way. Like most people today, like I live in Scottsdale, Arizona here. I'm inside the Legacy office right now. I have a lot of anxiety, and so I want to be super calming, and I want to have time to obviously do some self-reflecting and see where I've gone over the last couple of years and see where I've came, see what I've become, see the amount of people I've been impacting. And so literally what I did is inside my room, I invested the money. I bought a fish tank. It's a saltwater fish tank. I've never had a saltwater fish tank in my life. And this entire fish tank setup cost me about $5,000. That's not including the fish that I actually have inside of it. I bought a Teslata eel, which is the dopest eel that literally it's one of the most aggressive eels in the ocean. I actually bought it from Bali. It came from Bali, shipped it, absolutely insane. And then of course I got a couple other fish in there. But the reason that people are like, man, why would you spend $5,000, $6,000 on a fish tank? And it's like, man, this $5,000, $6,000 is an investment for me because you should see when I sit down in this beanbag, turn on some brain music, and I get so many freaking ideas. I'm not thinking about anything. I'm not looking at my phone. I'm not seeing what fire there is. That is me time, man. That's what I do. I'm not going to reach out to you. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to do what you want me to do. If my businesses are blowing up, my businesses can wait, man. This is me time, right? This is my time to allow myself to reflect. Hey, can you guys be quiet? We'll have to cut that out.
No worries. That's essential, man, is setting aside that time to really figure out where you are and how you've gotten there. Because if you never reflect on the way that you've gotten to where you're at right now, then you're never going to know what you need to do to like keep going down that path or really change paths. So I think that's essential.
Absolutely, man.
All right, Austin, I have some questions that I like to ask all of my guests before we finish the show. Are you feeling ready for them?
Absolutely, man.
Wonderful. So the first question is, what are you excited about right now? This could be something in your business, in the wider realm of entrepreneurship, the world, but what's something you're genuinely excited about right now?
Man, I'm excited that the viewers are listening. That's one. And two, I'm excited for somebody to shoot me a DM and say, hey, man, that interview that you did with Apple, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. And that one thing that you shared with me actually was a thought motion that created, obviously, where it deterred my life. It changed what I did on a daily basis. Because so many people think they got to change these big, massive things on a daily basis when they really only got to change a lot of little things. A lot of little things will change all of the big things. Everybody else thinks they've got to fix the big problems, when in all reality, that small leak is the reason everything else is leaking as well, right? So, what I'm excited about, man, is just life. I'm excited about life. And I've always been excited about life. I've always been excited about what it is that we have here. And again, that's through reflecting and understanding where we like. Man, I live in Scottsdale, Arizona. It's sunny. It's freaking gorgeous here. The people I'm around are winners. And where we're gonna go this year is gonna be insane. That's what I'm excited for, right? Everything I've done has manifested myself. I just got news over the last couple of days that a legacy marketing, my marketing company is going to actually be put in Forbes. We're going to be put in Entrepreneur Co. And that's not something I thought about. That's not something I expected. But that's something I wanted. Right. And so that's just what I'm excited for, man. I'm excited for life. I'm excited for everybody else. I love watching people succeed. Like, that's actually become one of my addictions, is watching people go from zero to hero, watching somebody, change the course of their life by just a simple decision that they made. And that simple decision might even be yes. That simple decision might be saying no. I don't know, but a simple decision can ultimately change your life, because that's what it's done for me. And so that's what I'm excited for, man.
100%. Love your vibes. Love your energy, man. It really, it's contagious.
I love it, Tim.
So do you have any habits that have served you particularly well? These could be in your business, in your lifestyle, but just things you do on a regular basis to help you level up.
Yeah, man. I'll be completely transparent here. I'll be completely transparent. I don't want to tell people what they want to hear. I want to tell them what they need.
Do it.
And that is no. I don't have a habit. The only habit I have is brushing my teeth and trying to eat. I'm super bad at all of that. There's not one thing I am perfect at, because again, my lifestyle is always changing. My life's always changing. My life looks different every 30 days. Literally, my life looks different every 30 days. Some days, like, I remember there was a time in my life when I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Every morning I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I read a little bit, or I listened to a little bit of an audio. I'm not a good reader. I do not read books. I read chapters. I do not read books. I read chapters. I will solely buy a $13 book just to read one chapter that I like. Because again, I don't read books. I can't read books. It just stresses me out. You know what I mean? I'm not good at it either. It's slower than a turtle crossing the road. But I read chapters. But I do listen to books. I do a lot of audios, and I follow along when I am reading a book. But I don't read a lot of books. I just read chapters. But again, it's going from, where I was at to where I wanted to be. And honestly, man, like, I don't have habits. Because again, my life is different every 30 days. And so I remember the time of me being able to, wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, do a little bit of audio, going to the gym, and I'm at work. I'm working by 8:30, 9 o'clock. Like now, today, right now in my life, again, it's always changed. I can't get up before 7:30. I cannot wake up before 7:30. It just is not it just does not work right now. Now, again, in 60 days and 30 days, that might be completely different. I might not be able to wake up until 9 a.m. Right? But that's just, that's what's working for me. There was a time in my life when going to the gym in the morning worked. Right now, it don't work. It don't work right now. I can't go to the gym at 9 a.m. I got to go to the gym at 5 p.m., right? Or 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. or I got to go to the gym at noon. I'm not on this is a routine. This is because my life's so fast, man. I move at such a fast pace. I'm always constantly doing something and achieving more and bringing on more and giving myself so many tasks. I'm so freaking busy. It's unbelievable. How can I have a routine? Right? I don't have my only habit, and this is something this is probably my only habit. My only habit is challenging myself to be better than I was yesterday. Always to be chasing something and moving away from something else. That's what I do every single day. I always run away from yesterday. I always run away from something that put me down. I always run away from where I'm at, and I always chase something else, right? I mean, my greatest hero is me. In 10 years. In 10 years, you're going to ask me, man, who's your greatest hero? Is it you yet? I'm going to say, no, it's me in 10 years. It's always going to be me in 10 years. It's always going to be me in 10 years. So no sexy habits here. Just a normal average kid with above average dreams and goals that literally worked, built something, and had a lot of fun doing it, man. I had a lot of fun doing it. I have a lot of fun. I enjoy myself. All the employees of Legacy Marketing, they have a lot of fun. They're not downed on because they're employees, because most of our employees do better than most entrepreneurs. It's a good environment. It's a good place to be. And again, I just want to be better than I was yesterday. And today I'm gonna be great. Today I'm gonna be great, and tomorrow I'm gonna be even better, man.
I love it. So you mentioned that you're reading chapters, you're listening to audios. What content in particular are you consuming? Are there any sources that you like better than others? Any podcasts in particular? Any YouTube channels in particular? Any authors in particular? What's that looking like for you?
Yeah, man. I mean, I honestly I never listen to how-to. I never listen to how-to stuff. So I don't listen to, how to build a Shopify store, or I don't, read how to get rich. I don't read how to make your first million. I don't read, how to make 6 figures in network marketing. I don't read how to build a social media company. I read the what's. I read the what's, because every single day, like if you wrote 2 books, Apple, your first book was how you've built this insane business, and the second one was what. I'm always going to get more fulfillment and more joy, and you're going to keep me a lot longer on the what than the how. Because the how, you can figure it out, man. The how, you can figure it out. You follow other people's footsteps. Do what they do. You'll get what they got. Fail. Do you know how many businesses? Me and my partner now, Austin Zabak, he's my partner in a lot of our businesses that we do together, and we've created, millions of dollars in companies. Him and I have created 25 people in our current company, making an extra five figures a year. And we've actually created 2 people now within 9 months that are now creating 6 figures a year in our company, in one of our companies. And our motto is look at 20 things, look at 20 businesses, look at 20 ideas. Implement 15 of them, meaning do 15 of them, make 15 businesses, and 3 of them actually succeed. And the rest of them, the 3 succeed so much more to where it pays off the other 12 that didn't succeed. The 3 pay off the 12 that didn't succeed. The 3 10x. You pour fuel onto that fire. So I look at 20, I do 15, 12 of them fail, 3 of them succeed. The 3 that succeed pay for the 12 that failed, and the 3 we 10x, right? So that's what it is, man. That's what it is. And so, I never listen to the how. I always listen to the what. I listen to the motivation. Because again, I am good enough. I don't know how, but I'll figure it out, man. I'll figure it out. Most people just want to listen to the how-tos, man. They're Googling how to do this, man. If I'm so bad at computers, and it's so embarrassing watching me try to build something on a computer. Everybody else is YouTubing on how to build a funnel on ClickFunnels or something, right? This was me like a year and a half ago. People were Googling on us and just YouTube no, I want to figure this out myself. I go on to ClickFunnels, I start clicking away at stuff, figuring out stuff, and boom, I can build a funnel now. Right? Now, obviously, that's not my role, is to build a funnel, but now I can do it. But I teach myself by doing it. Now, is that me being stubborn and things like that? Man, I think you can learn a lot from what other people's failures are, but you can also learn a lot because we're young. I'm young. I can also learn a lot by failing as well, right? Now, there's some things in business that I've done that my mentors have done too that have failed. Like, oh yeah, that's a good idea, but no, it doesn't work. Great, I won't do that, right? But there's some things that I'm going to be like, okay, I'm going to figure out, I'm going to fail forward. I'm always failing forward because those 12 businesses, this last year, those 12 businesses, I think combined, out of those 12 businesses, we probably lost $120,000 combined between my partner and I. $120,000 just gone. That I learned so much from that I don't even look at that we lost $100,000. I look at that we've made multiple hundreds of grands because we've lost that $100,000, right? And so that's what I always like. That's what I always do is always on YouTube or podcasts or videos or something like that. Man, I always read how to become a better person. I always read on what I could do, what I need to be internalizing into my head, right? Not the how, but the what, because the how we'll figure out, man. The how we'll figure out.
Absolutely. Austin, you've been dropping a ridiculous amount of value on our listeners today. If they want to follow up with you, see more Austin Lewis, hear more from you, where should we send them? Where can they follow up with you at?
Yes, sir. So I actually just hired a videographer. His name's RD3 Media. He's an absolute stud. So we're going to be coming really hard on YouTube. I am at the Austin Lewis on Instagram. I don't use Facebook. I don't use Twitter. I don't use anything other than Instagram and YouTube. So come shoot me a follow there. And then my business website is, you can just literally Google Alegacy Marketing, ALEGACY marketing, and I'll be at the top, man. Give my office line a call, man. We'll pick it up.
Awesome. I'll be sure to link up all of those in the show notes below for y'all to check out. Austin, do you have any last words of wisdom, parting thoughts for our listeners here today on Young Smart Money?
Yeah, man. Obviously, first of all, Apple, thank you, brother. I appreciate what you're doing, man. I don't tend to do a lot of podcasts, but I saw what you were doing. I saw you've been super consistent. I saw the business. I saw you getting in top 100 business podcasts, man. So hats off to you, brother. Obviously, we wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. So, for all of the viewers, show Apple some love, man. Share this, show his podcast some love, because what he's doing is absolutely incredible. I know you're not going to just impact 1,000 people, but you're going to impact millions, man. I truly believe that. And so, in ending, in leaving that, man, I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate you, and I look forward to doing some sort of business with you down the road and in the future, man. I'm excited for you, excited for your future. I'm excited to watch this podcast grow. And again, guys, get excited, get fired up. I always say, to every single person, each of us is one of us is all of us, and all of us, man, we're gonna go crush this thing. I appreciate it, Apple.
That is Austin Lewis, the legend. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate your time.
Likewise, brother. I appreciate you, man.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this latest episode of Young Smart Money and got a ton of value out of it. If you did, do not forget to subscribe to the podcast. It only takes about 5 seconds. If you're walking the dog, if you're going to the gym, pull that phone out of your pocket, press that subscribe button, and drop us some love in the ratings and review sections as well. Those really do help the podcast get in front of even more people and helps us get even more amazing guests on the show. And I do read each and every one of your ratings, reviews, message that you send me. They really do impact me and the show and show me exactly what you want to be seeing here on Young Smart Money. So again, do not forget to drop us a rating, review, and subscribe over in iTunes. And guys, have a wonderful day. Take care. And I really do appreciate you choosing to spend your time here with us on Young Smart Money. Have a wonderful day. Real quick, just launched a new project called the Online Course Examiner, basically the Yelp of online courses. It is blowing up lately, onlinecourseexaminer.com. Check it out.